Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and stay tuned by clicking the bell icon. ID Emmerdale's Charity Dingle's history from first appearance, marriages and murder. Emmerdale's Charity Dingle has been in the ITV soap since 2000 and has been involved in some huge storylines and many romances. Emmerdale's Charity Dingle, played by Emma Atkins, is the daughter of Obadiah Dingle, Paul Copley, and Kathleen Dingle, unseen. She is the mother of Debbie Dingle, Charlie Webb, Noah Dingle, Jack Downham, and Moses Dingle, Arthur Cockcroft, as well as her long-lost son Ryan Stocks, James Moore. Charity has been involved in many relationships over the years, including second cousin Kane Dingle, Jeff Worley, Chris Tate, Peter Amory, Tom Kane, Ken Farrington, Jimmy Kane, Nick Miles, Michael Conway, Jamie Bellman, Jai Sharma, Chris Bisson, Declan Macy, Jason Merrills, Ross Barton, Michael Pear, Mark Bales, Rocky Marshall, and Mackenzie Boyd, Lawrence Robb. Her mother, Kathleen, committed suicide when Charity was a little girl, and as a result, Obadiah became a bitter man, blaming Charity for their problems, leaving her the subject of violence as Obadiah turned to alcohol. Express.co.uk has taken a look into Charity Dingle's life and relationships over 24 years on the show. At the age of 12, Charity began a relationship with her second cousin, where the pair would often skip school together to hang out at Almscliffe Crag. It was at Almscliffe's where Charity fell pregnant just after her 13th birthday, and was soon kept apart from Kane and her pregnancy hidden from him. On 26 October 1989, Charity gave birth to a little girl who was handed over to Obadiah's alcoholic friend Pat Jones, unseen, who named the baby Debbie and registered the baby as her own child. Charity struggled to deal with giving her baby away and soon ended up on the streets and began working as a prostitute for money. Charity was often arrested for soliciting by the age of 25-year-old by police officer Mark Bales, but was relieved when she was arrested as he would let her away with caution if she played her cards right. Mark offered Charity a flat who naively decided to accept without any questions, but on the first night he raped her, with Charity convincing herself they were in a relationship. A possessive Mark pimped Charity onto his mates, stopped her from leaving the flat, and got violent when she didn't do as he said. Charity discovered she was pregnant again, but as she was sure Bales would get violent if he found out, she attempted to end the pregnancy by drinking copious amounts of alcohol, but stopped when she felt her unborn child kick for the first time. Charity realized things couldn't continue like they were, so one day she pretended to pass out, and whilst Mark was in the toilet, she stole his keys and drove his police car to the police station to report the abuse. After not being in the Dales for long, she quickly turned her attention to Chris, but kept their relationship a secret from the rest of the village. Only Marlon Dingle, Mark Charnock, and Terry Woods, Billy Hartman, were aware of the relationship until December when Chris' sister Zoe Tate, Leah Bracknell, found Charity in the home farm kitchen and assumed she was there on the rob. However, she was not pleased when she learned of their relationship and tried to persuade Chris to dump Charity, but to no avail. The Dingles were furious at Charity for what they saw as a betrayal as they blamed the Tates for Butch's death and disowned her, with the pair marrying on 27 November 2001. In January 2003, when Debbie showed Kane Dingle a photo of her biological mother, he recognized her as Charity. Kane confronted her, who was shocked to realize Debbie was her daughter, leaving Charity to refuse all contact with her daughter. Charity soon admitted to Zoe that Debbie was her daughter, but tried to hide it from her husband Chris. When Chris figured out the truth, Charity lied and insisted Debbie was not her daughter, confusing Zoe. Eventually, Charity was forced to admit to Chris that Debbie was her daughter. Chris was suffering from terrible headaches, and after extensive tests, it revealed he had an inoperable brain tumor. Chris committed suicide by poisoning himself on 17 September 2003, with Charity realizing that Chris had framed her for murder when the police found her fingerprints on Chris's glass and her signature on an order for poison. The police didn't believe that Chris had killed himself, so she blamed Kane, who said Charity had killed Chris, and she was charged with murder but released on bail. In November 2003, Charity collapsed at a hearing and was rushed to hospital, where she was told that she was 8 weeks pregnant. Charity tried to persuade Zoe to tell the truth and reminded her of their past and kissed her, but Zoe testified that she had killed Chris, and on 22 January 2004, she was found guilty and sentenced to life imprisonment. On 1 March 2004, Charity gave birth by emergency cesarean section after suffering from preeclampsia, and had her son 3 months prematurely and named him Noah. Debbie was delighted to have a brother. However, her happiness was short-lived as Charity told her she won't be keeping the baby, convinced that she couldn't offer him a good start in life and must give him up for adoption. With Chris dead and desperate to get her hands on some money, Charity set her sights on the new local millionaire Tom King. She got a job as his secretary, and after working together for a few months, Tom admitted his feelings to Charity, who reciprocated his compliment, and the two became an item. However, the arrival of Tom's daughter-in-law, Sadie King, Patsy Kensett, put a spanner in the works, as Sadie knew Charity was a gold digger and feared that Tom would leave the business to Charity when he retired rather than her husband. Charity and Sadie spent months sparing. However, Charity gained the upper hand when, on 1 July 2004, Tom proposed. In February 2005, Charity began an affair with Jimmy King, Nick Miles, but soon decided to blackmail him in Emmerdale with Debbie and Noah. Tom begged Charity to get back with him. Despite her relationship with Jimmy, however, Charity refused, with her leaving with Noah after Debbie refused to leave. After 4 years away, she returned in 2009 and transpired that Charity and Michael had been engaged for over a year, whilst failing to mention her 19-year-old daughter and having no idea about Michael's affair. Michael wanted to be with Debbie and claimed he was only with Charity because of her pregnancy. Debbie realized that Charity had known Michael was about to leave her and told him that she was pregnant in a means of keeping hold of him, and revealed this to Michael, but Charity denied it. On Debbie's 20th birthday, Charity attempted to flee the birthday meal after Kane had offered to pay her £20,000 if she left the village and never came back. Charity then briefly left the village with Noah, but returned a few days later and soon learnt of Kane's fortune, stolen from the Kings. In December 2010, Charity started working for Jai Sharma as a property developer, helping with the restoration of the barn next to the Zach Dingle, Steve Halliwell, and Lisa Dingle's, Jane Cox, farm. On 10 February 2011, Jai took Charity to a hotel in Leeds for a business trip for the evening, hoping to seduce her. However, Charity made it clear that she would not cheat on Kane, despite his flaws and her attraction towards Jai. Later, Kane arrived at the first hotel with flowers for Charity, but upon finding out that she and Jai had already checked out and only had one room, he'd assumed the worst and returned to the village and slept with Faye Lamb, Kim Thompson. Initially, Kane acted nonchalantly, as he was convinced Charity would soon be back. However, it quickly became clear that she had moved on from Kane when she moved into Holgate Farm with Jai. After a lot of drama, back and forth, and scare tactics, Charity and Jai finally married on 26 January 2012. At the end of the day, she repaired her relationship with Debbie, who finally forgave her, and she and Jai got happily married. Jai ended up having an affair with Rachel Breckle, Gemma Oden, who soon gave birth to his son Archie Breckle, Kayasi. Charity soon found out about the affair and gave Jai an ultimatum, saying he had to choose between her and Archie, leading to him choosing Archie and deciding they should get divorced. Charity and Declan began a relationship, despite no one believing it would last, and she soon realized that she was pregnant, planning to secretly have an abortion. He found out and proposed to her, which she reluctantly accepted, and later returned home to find out Declan had told Noah about the baby. However, she was still set on having the termination, having booked an appointment for the day after the wedding. On 15 May 2014, Charity married Declan, and after a confrontation with Megan a few days later, it gave Charity an opportunity to feign miscarriage when she was accidentally knocked to the floor after taking the pills making her miscarry. A scan at the hospital confirmed she has lost the baby, leaving Declan devastated. Declan soon figured out what had happened and was planning to murder her, leaving Charity to overhear the conversation. Declan returned home and Charity played it cool while he coerced her into coming onto a boat trip, but she panicked. She attempted to attack him with an axe, only for him to knock her out. Declan placed her in the boot of his car and attempted to bury her in the nearby woods, but when he opened the boot, Charity fought back, attacking him and running away. He caught up to her though and once again tried to kill her, but she managed to escape, fleeing onto a boat, but to her horror, the boat got stuck in the middle of the lake, allowing Declan to swim to it. He attempted to shoot Charity with a flare gun, however, instead fatally shot his nephew, Robbie Lawson, Janie Shelton, who was attempting to save Charity. Declan then tried to pull Charity into the water, but she hit him over the head with a metal box, and Declan sunk into the water, seemingly dead. After opening an illegal car chop shop, Charity was found not guilty on the charge of fraud, but guilty to have perverted the course of justice, and was sentenced to 2 years imprisonment. While waiting to be escorted to the prison, She told Kane that she still loved him and wanted to pursue a relationship with him once she was released, but he didn't have time to answer before she was taken away. Debbie visited her on 11 June 2015 and was shocked when Charity gave birth to her son, Moses Dingle, as no one knew she was even pregnant. Charity made Debbie his legal guardian, and she returned to prison as her get-out-of-jail-early trick had failed. Anne demanded to know who the baby's father was, but Charity said she couldn't tell him, who was later revealed to be Ross Barton. To everyone's disbelief, it was revealed Charity had bought Diane Sugden's, Elizabeth Estenson, half of the wool pack when she walked behind the bar, and declared to everyone that she was the owner. In late September, Kane and Charity started dating, and Debbie called Charity, informing her she and the kids planned to stay in France permanently, prompting Charity and Kane to decide to leave the village and stay with Debbie in France. However, Kane changed his mind last minute, still in love with Maura, and a devastated Charity faked her suicide by crashing his car in a quarry. She turned up back in the village a few days later and vowed to Noah that from now on he would be her #1 priority. On 22 February 2018, Charity and Vanessa made their relationship official after months of teasing and denying their feelings for each other. On 17 January 2019, Charity proposed to Vanessa in an extravagant ordeal at Home Farm. However, Vanessa rejected her when she realized Charity had hijacked someone else's proposal, but later said yes when Charity proposed for a second time with just the two of them. After being involved in yet another fraud scheme, the pair got back together, but their happiness didn't last long when Vanessa couldn't get past being lied to for months and broke up with Charity, who was left devastated. Charity is currently married to Mackenzie, but has been through another ordeal with the troubled youngster. Mackenzie cheated on Charity with Chloe Harris, Jessie Elland, who became pregnant and soon gave birth to their son Reuben. Charity was left devastated and cooled things off, leaving Mac to focus on his son and Chloe, but couldn't stay away from Charity. Chloe found out he had been unfaithful again and attempted to kill Charity, but Mackenzie was left to decide who he wanted to save, pulling Charity from the wreckage and leaving Chloe to fall, luckily escaping death. If you liked the video, don't forget to like, comment, and share.